everybody. It is my favorite myofascial stretch technique of the day. I'm also going to show you some of the things that I've been using, or maybe some of the things that you can find around your house to use as props. So if you don't have a ball, or some people have been messaging and asking about that. So we are going to go through a couple of those things as I was pillaging around the house. So for maybe a foam roller, if you have a yoga mat, you could just roll it up and then just lay on that, as we use the foam roller often to open up the low back. We lay on top of it with another pillow or something to support our torso. So that is always an option. The other thing, I'm so excited for a stretch today. You could use it for a ball. So say if I have us sitting on a ball, you could even sit on the rolled up mat. So I think it was yesterday where we sat on the ball and then we had one leg straight, the one that was on the ball. Let me scoot back so you can actually see me. And then the other leg was straight. And that would be great, especially maybe you have a tennis ball and it's just a little too intense. So you can always modify and look around. So again, we've got our sweet rolled up yoga mat. The other thing I thought was fun is I'm a little bit of a knitter. Just really hats and scarves and my sweet arm warmers. So anyway, but if you have a big ball of yarn, so again, if the ball is too intense in your belly or any of these other spots that we're finding throughout our stretch techniques, then maybe you can use one of those. I also had the idea, if the ball is too intense, say you're using a tennis ball, is you can maybe wrap it up with something like a hat or a towel. This is Gus's old Kong. That's a good one for some glute work. So my dog and his sweet toys. So you can look around the house and borrow those too. I have a whole pile of stuff. So fun. So this is one of those little pillows that you heat up in the microwave. I love it. Keeps me warm while I'm getting my Netflix on. And so this too could be something that you could lay on if we did any of the work where we're doing the ball in the belly or into the quads. You could use it for compression or even part of a lift. So if I put it between my shoulder blades, right? And we'll go over these stretches more slowly, but just trying to give you guys some ideas. And that is a beautiful lift here in my ribs without the intensity of having the bigger ball or maybe the more firm ball. So that is a really good thing. And just listen to your body. So it'll tell you if it's too much, right? So then we just back off. Feel free to comment. I totally can't see them yet, but when I'm done, I'll come up to the screen so I can actually see your comments. I love it. Here is my sawed-off foam roller. That is a really good one. I love that side ribs and even kind of IT band and around your glutes and such. I found another thing that you could use. I don't know if you're sitting around with one of these. So imagine if we used it as the ball under the sacrum. So one of our followers told us how much they like the ball in the sacrum. That was their favorite stretch and quite helpful for a little back pain. So if you have your 24-pack, or whatever, this is a 12-pack, you can bridge up. And I've got that right under my sacrum where it's tucking my pelvis. My knees are bent. And this is lovely. So I can hang out. It's soft, right? It's not too intense. And still gives me that position and lift, so I'm adding a little traction to my sweet lumbar. So now I have to remember, I just found this fun stretch while I was rolling on the floor. Let's see if I can remember it. So, I did. Were we going to use the ball? Okay. We are going to work on the top of our quad today. So imagine all this fascia that comes up, your hip flexor. I've talked about our psoas, which attaches from your femur bone up high. It crosses your hip bone, right? Crosses that hip joint, and it attaches to each lumbar vertebrae. So it's deep in that inner belly, so it's the front of your back. So we're gonna go below that though, on the hip side of things, right? It can be really helpful for low back pain. It's really good for your hip. And then of course it's all connected, so how about that? It's good for it all. I'm going to use this ball. Again, you could use something softer like the yarn or a rolled up towel. If you are in St. Louis, I have a billion of these, but maybe not a billion, like 100. And just text me or email me or message me and I could just stick them on my front porch. We're not really going anywhere here in St. Louis right now. But if that is an option for you, I wouldn't mind at all. I could just leave the box out there. So I'm gonna lay forward on my belly. We're gonna be up on our elbows. So if you need a towel or something under your elbows. And when I lay down, you won't see it when I'm there, but I'm gonna put the ball just at the top there. And then my other leg is gonna frog out to the side. So I'm gonna put the ball on my left side first so you can see that right leg action there. So good. So we're gonna climb on down and I'm gonna put my ball in that spot. I hope you guys can hear me. I forgot to put on that fun little mic. Okay. And then, this is the fun part. Get on my mat here. I'm gonna bring this right leg and bend that knee up. That ups the ante a little bit. I can even feel it up in my left rib cage. So how fun is that? So I'm up on my elbows, but I'm just relaxing. And someone who lives with me, I won't say any names, he asked me about, he's been doing his stretches every day in myofascial stretch techniques, and he was laying on the ball, and he asked me, you know, he was trying to get a little more out of it, so he was pushing into the ball. So that is not what we're up to. We're just, imagine just melting on top. So you're just letting your body soften and feel. If this is too intense on the floor, you can hang out in bed, which was where I was all day. I got a text from somebody. They said, where's our stretch of the day? I love it. It's so good. I was feeling a little wobbly today, I gotta say. And so here's my spot. And this is my left side. It's kind of my favorite, as in quite chatty. I think it's doing all the work from that old right back stuff. And so it gets lots of attention, and that keeps it happy. I don't mind. So we're melting, we're never forcing anything. If it was too much up on your elbows, you can always, oh, that changes it totally. Woo! And then it settles. It's just quite different. Not more intense, just kind of a different pull. I like this one though. Kind of reminds me of how it gets into the psoas, crosses that hip joint. And again, I'm on my elbows here and just plopping on the mat. Hanging out. And while we're at it, let's just find our breath and ground ourselves a little bit. Feel the floor underneath you when you're doing these techniques. Allow it to bring your mind and your attention back into your body. There's so much going on right now. I know my fight or flight is totally at attention. So this work has been so wonderful, and I'm quite grateful to have it so that I can stay more present and just be right here. Get me out of my racing head. So breathing and melting. My left leg, you can see, is just straight and flat. And then I have my right leg frogged out here. Again, you could always lay flat, especially if you had any low back pain with this at all. And as you come out of it, you're going to bring that leg neutral first. And then you can just get your ball and do the other side. So then I just roll. Here's where the ball is going. Kind of place that in there. And remember, each side is quite different. So you might have one side that loves it and the other side says, what are you doing? Right? I'm going to bend my left knee and frog it out. Oh, I found this one this morning. So good. really gets in there in a beautiful way. And just imagine our gait when we're walking. If our gait gets narrow, right, it messes with our balance. So imagine fast forward to 85 years old. They throw you with a walker and it just shortens your gait and shortens your feet in that, so it's closer than hip width. We start to kind of lose our balance and have that offset. So it's really important, even when we're obviously quite younger, to create that space in the hips so that we get our move on when we're walking. And then we sit and wait and feel. So use your breath. Use the ball, that input, to find that place in your body. Notice where you might be holding on anywhere else. Are you tightening in your glutes? What about your feet? Your shoulders? You can drop your chin, or again, you can even lay flat. Again, I kind of like this angle. It's a nice opening, and I feel it go through into that deep psoas fascial layers all up in the low back there. The front of my back, I just realized I was totally clenching my right quad. So let go, little body. Breathe and feel. Amazing. So again, you can hang out. If you're new to myofascial release and the myofascial stretch method, you can always do just your 2 to 5 minutes. Or if it's really sore, just start with 30 seconds and work your way up. Sometimes when we're in pain or we've been in a pain cycle for a long time, the input is just where the body is just so close to threshold, right? It's always got this feedback loop like, oh, it's going to hurt, or it does. And so the littlest thing can kick you over that threshold, and then it just goes into overwhelm, like, oh, that's too much. So we're actually creating space between that threshold. So you get more and more wiggle room between that, so the smaller things don't kick us over into overwhelm. That is our beautiful stretch. I'm going to look at some comments here and see. Hey, Jen! Oh, I'm so glad you can hear me. Thanks for that. Feel free to post any questions down below, or if you have any ideas for people to use different props that they might have around their house that you use for your own session at your house. So that would be wonderful. It's really lovely to see you. I'm really glad you're here. Have a wonderful day. I look forward to connecting, and I love reading your post. It's been wonderful. Thanks for being with me. Bye.